So if you quit walking, so say like right now, I'm walking like a maniac at this moment, but next week could, and I know next week could be different. So because I can walk really good right now, that doesn't guarantee me that next week, if I say I had a procedure and I'm not walking at all, do those little blood vessels start going away, drying up?
It's not that. So, interestingly, those little blood vessels don't, but the main blood vessels that you were born with, the disease continues. Remember, there's no cure for ultimately what PAD is, what's called atherosclerosis, which is just a fancy way of saying that plaque gets laid down. No matter what you do, that disease process, you'll live with it your whole life. There's no cure for it. There's no pill for that. All these medications, the blood thinners, the statins to lower your cholesterol, all this stuff is trying to slow the process, but it's going to keep happening. It's like aging. Like everybody ages. You can take better care of yourself so that your last few years are not horrible if you make decisions in your 40s, 50s, 60s so that your 80s, 90s, 100s are fine, like bone density and stuff like that. So what's really happening is if you stop walking, the blood vessels that you originally created by walking stay, but because atherosclerosis continues, it's eating up the other blood vessels anyway. So you may end up losing those blood vessels, which you were going to lose anyway, but if you had walked, you would have created those little channels. You wouldn't have even noticed that one of those main blood vessels was gone. But if you stop walking, you'll feel it.
So say an elderly person is walking, but then they break a hip, they're out of condition for a while.
Yep.
They're still better off for having walked?
Yes.
Or
100%.
is it like you're starting all over again?
No. 100%. Unless they're a smoker. If they smoke, they murder those blood vessels every time they form. Okay. So they don't get any benefit. But if they don't smoke, then they maintain those collaterals. And because that walking also helps the heart and the neck. So the chances of stroke and heart attack decrease as well.
Okay. So if you think you have at the end of the day another mile in you, you should do the mile? Or is it like, hey, you've done really good today, stop, enough's enough?
No way, do the mile.
Okay.
Do the mile. Oh yeah. You'll never trick me into saying don't do that mile.
So it's very simple. Walk. Period.
Yeah. But it can almost make you crazy where you're not living your life because you're so, like, I am OCD, so I get obsessed with how much did I walk, how many steps did I do, can I do more, and at some point it takes over your life.
No, and it shouldn't. I think you know what, if you wanna go, I would say if you can walk 30 minutes continuously, you're doing well. If you can do that, then you can maintain yourself walking every other day for 30 minutes. Because, again, no one's trying to like run the Olympics here. We just want you to be able to live the life that you want to live without being disrupted by your legs. And your legs disrupting you, whether you have a wound on it and it hurts, whether it is because you go with your grandkids to the grocery store, but you can't make it more than 10 feet without stopping, or that it's taking over your life because you have OCD, are all your legs are interrupting your life. So a good place to be at is if you can walk 30 minutes, you're golden. Doesn't mean you stop walking, because again, you're benefiting your heart and your stroke risk and whatnot. And but then we slide into the category of just like, you want to exercise 30 minutes 3 times a week. Not you have to walk, you know what I mean? And so if you can do that, I would say that every other day, 30 minutes at a minimum, continuous walking.